Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another DS3 commentary video. Instead of the usual PvP stuff that you see out of me, I'd kind of like to take a minute and talk about my build and, kind of why I do the things that I do as far as the stats and the weapons that I use. So let me show you the stats here. Starting class was a Pyromancer, chose the Divine Blessing just for the extra heal, but the stats on the left here, as you can see, typically at lower levels I like to go for 27 Vigor. 27 Vigor will give you 1,000 unembered HP, and pretty much anything from there is you're going to be seeing pretty minimal gains. So there's really no reason at lower levels above and beyond that. At higher levels, definitely do that, but as far as a low level goes, 1,000 HP is what I'm comfortable fighting with, and it's pretty much the most I'm going to get out of it as far as HP goes. I have 19 strength and 18 dexterity, and that's going to give me sufficient stats to use, a good portion of the items, weapons in this game. Um, you know, Curved swords, the Astora, the Murakumo, as well as some strength weapons, like the Zweihander. I've been meaning to put the Great Club on here, but and then 23 Int Faith, and that typically caps out. Int Faith caps out at 30-30, so you're not really going to want to go above that unless you're casting spells. If you're using pyromancies, go 40-40. So, but these stats, they're pretty spread out, but it allows me to use a wide range of weapons. I'm going to show you what those are in just a second here. So I typically do most of my fighting with the Claymore here. As I said, it's good for beating out straight swords. You can take that trade and win as long as you're two-handing. Handed moveset is also very nice as it has a long-range poke, as well as it's pretty good at roll catching. Great swords are pretty good at roll catching, one-handed or two-handed though, so not really anything too special there. Um, I like to backstab fish, and I like to keep something on me for a decent riposte damage. So I choose the Chaos Rapier because the Rapier has a very wide grab box for the backstabs. Has that same critical modifier as the dagger, a little bit more AR. However, it does not do as much riposte damage as the Chaos Dagger. For some reason, a mechanic called motion value allows the Chaos Dagger to do more riposte damage than the Rapier. Not 100% sure what that means, so I'm not really going to get into that too much. But that's just something that I've read as well as have noticed. Pyromancer's Parting Flame here because I have Black Flame on the build. I initially had medium heal with Philionor's Chime for regen and healing. The nice thing about Chaos builds is you have Int Faith, so it allows you to use some miracles as well as pyromancies, sorceries if you wanted. So just jack of all trades, really. It's very nice. My parry shield of choice is the Lilywin. I've been using it since the beginning. I like to set up parry with it, preferred over the Cestus. Obviously, the Cestus has its advantages, but I much prefer the shield for fishing and parry. This is the fashion here. I've shown this off in plenty of other videos. And typical rings, Prisoner's Chain, everybody pretty much knows about that. 5 points in Vigor, 5 points in Endurance, 5 points in Vitality for a 4% absorption reduction. Absolutely vital at lower levels. I mean, that's 15 free levels. The Prisoner's Chain essentially makes me level 70, so that's that's nice at level 55. Cat Ring here, I use that to just, I was invading Gang City earlier, and if you don't go to Gang City with the Cat Ring, as I've accidentally done before, you're going to probably kill yourself. That's always fun. So I have the Hunter's Ring here. Hunter's Ring grants 5 points into dexterity. That allows me to use some of the dex weapons I have, like the Astora, the Murakumo. And again, that's like another 5 free levels. So with the Hunter's Ring, the Prisoner's Chain, and being at level 55, that's like 70 points of levels right there. So you can that holds. Hornet Ring, obviously, since Chaos builds are pretty much built around critical attacks, you're going to want to have that. So some of the weapons I use here, obviously the Chaos Dagger, as I said earlier, don't typically use that too much unless I need that extra damage. Not very often, though. The Rapier usually does fine as a Zweihander. I have a simple parrying dagger here because back when this was more of a casting build, having the simple parrying dagger allowed me to parry as well as passive FP regen, which is nice, if you're using any sort of spells. Got the typical tryhard swords here, Goddards, the Lothric swords. Haven't been using straight swords very much lately, but they have their uses. A fast guard break, obviously the R1, R1, R2. So it's just something you should probably have on every build. Claymore, as I said before, that I fight with allows me, a little bit of hyper armor. I have the Zweihander next to it here, as well as the Astora. If I'm doing any weapon swaps, typically swap to one of these two here. To get decent damage out of it. Curve swords, as I said, I got a lot of those. They're very good for roll catching. It's typically what I'm going to take one of those out for if the need arises. Murakumo's a personal favorite of mine. Just absolutely love it. Deals great damage, has great hyper armor. All around awesome weapon. Chaos Rapier, as I said earlier, for riposte, critical damage. If I need to take a quick riposte, not trying to be fancy or anything. I have the Dark Uchi on here. Don't typically fight with katanas, don't really enjoy them. They're not bad, just not my thing. What I have this on here for is for chase downs. A lot of times in invasions, you're going to run into somebody who's just going to run from you, waste a whole ton of your time. And so I have the katana for its running attacks, for chase downs. Don't use it too much anymore, and I'll get into why in just a second here, but also have the mace and the Morning Star in this build. Absolute roll catch machines. Perseverance is one of the best weapon arts in the game. And if you haven't used the Mace or the Morning Star, just absolutely do so. Just awesome, fun weapons. Chaos Lothric Warbanner here. The weapon art is nice, has a nice buff to it. But one reason that I am coming to enjoy spears is they're very good at spacing people, and they're very good for chase downs. And that's kind of why I opted to use that over the katana. So the katana's kind of taking a back seat to the spear. Every build should have, something like this. You need a quick weapon, something for roll catches, something for chase downs. As an invader, you're going to run into a lot of situations, and you should never try to force one weapon for every situation. You need to have utility. You need to have, something that deals damage, something that's quick, something that can chase. So that's why I like the Chaos build here, is it has a variety of weapons that grant me, your weapons are tools, and you need to have the right tool for the right job. So the scythe I have here, pretty much the same deal as the spear. It's good for spacing people. I think the spear does it a little more effectively, but I personally enjoy scythes. I think they're really cool. So that's pretty much why I have that. And as for the whip, if you didn't know, whips have the ability to attack through a wall. So as ridiculous as that is, if somebody's waiting to ambush you, they're standing behind a wall, standing around a corner or something like that, you can just use the whip and hit them through the wall. It's very nice at getting people to move from, like let's say the chapel in Irithyll, if they're just standing behind the walls, don't want to come out, you can just hit them with the whip through the walls, and that's a good way to get them moving, get them to play the game. And then Blessed Cestus here, obviously for passive regen. So that's pretty much the weapons. Like I said, I love this build for its utility. I like that it grants me many options, a lot of different things that I can do with it. Deals good damage, allows me to use many weapons. Just all around good build. So that's pretty much all for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a little feedback in the comment section here of what you thought of it. I know it's probably a little boring, not too much to look at, but I know I do see a lot of people ask, how do you go about your builds, or how should I upgrade my weapons, and I thought I'd just give you a little insight about how I go about doing that myself. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.